awards dinner celebration. This is an interesting evening. We come out to honor very important folks in our organization, members and the like. So I'm not going to bore you with my message. It's in the journal, and I urge you all to take a look in the journal so that you can recognize all of our supporters. There's remarks in the journal from all of the honorees this evening, so I urge you again to use it as a resource and take advantage of our members that are associated in that booklet. At this time, I'd like to invite Irene Conti, who is the chair-elect of the Woodbridge Metro Chamber of Commerce and with Investors Bank, to give us the pledge of allegiance.
Stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
And now, I'm sorry, if you would remain standing, now that you're all sitting, I'd like to invite Reverend William Smith, pastor, St. Anthony of Padua Church, for our invocation.
Sound on here? Is there sound on here? If they hear me, if I get well.
Let us pray. Servant God, we give you thanks and praise. We gather together to thank all those who serve our community and bless those in a special way who are being honored tonight. May all gather continue to serve the people of our community for the better of all and for the common good. Bless us, O Lord, for the gifts of food and fellowship we share tonight. We ask this in your holy name as we understand you. Amen.
Amen. You know, every year we have an amazing Master of Ceremonies here at the Chairman's Awards, and this year is no different. We brought in especially for you our Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event, Bernadette Selder, dinner co-chair, Middlesex Wood Company. Come on down!
All right, good evening, everyone. Another year has flown by, and it's been an exciting year for the Chamber of Commerce and for Woodbridge Township. And I'm delighted to be your Master of Ceremonies this evening, and I'm very proud to say I'm a member of the Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce. So on behalf of my dinner co-chair, Irene Conti, who you just met, and the entire Chairman's Awards Committee, we want to welcome you to a wonderful evening of networking and thank you for your ongoing support of the Chamber and for helping drive economic growth in Woodbridge and the surrounding metro area. Let's hear it out this way. So we come together tonight to do several things. We want to spotlight leadership, excellence, and service. And so we have a wonderful slate of honorees to present to you tonight. And this event is about recognition, it's about networking, but it's also about celebrating the special place the Chamber holds within our community and its very simple role, which is to help you build your business and make connections. So I invite you to do that tonight, to introduce yourself to someone new in the room, and to get reacquainted with old friends. We all have something really special here in Woodbridge, and I thank you all for making it so. I also want to talk a little bit about something special going on here in Woodbridge Township. This year, the Chamber, along with Woodbridge Township, is celebrating the sesquicentennial. Who knows what that is? 350 years, 350th anniversary of the township. This is a year-long celebration commemorating traditions of our townships past, present, and future. If you attended the kickoff celebration, that's just the beginning of a host of activities through 2019 to commemorate this special milestone. So at this time, it's very appropriate to introduce the leader at the helm of this celebration. I would like to call up our 2014 Citizen of the Year, none other than Mayor John McCormick.
Thank you very much, Bernadette. You know, in a few months I'll be here talking about the state of the township, and I want to say how strong it is right now. We have a lot of great things that are going on, but the relationship we've had with the Chamber of Commerce is very much responsible for that. When a business comes to town looking to expand, looking to relocate, and they see a vibrant Chamber of Commerce working with an aggressive municipal government and people in town who care, it's great for us, and it works out terrifically. So thank you to Karen and Nancy, the Chamber of Commerce, for all your support. I want to also congratulate the group of honorees today. I think it's the best group of honorees I've seen since I was on this. Bernadette mentioned the 350th anniversary. It really is a big deal for us. Last June 1st, we kicked it off with a big party at the community center. Our anniversary is actually June 1st of 2009. We have a star-studded lineup of stars coming to the Merrill Park for a whole day of entertainment. And just today, we signed Southside Johnny to be our keynote group to close the show that night. It's going to be amazing. It'll be absolutely amazing. I want to thank the council people in advance. Howie Bauer, of course, you'll see him as an honoree. Greg Carrera and Nancy Brun. We have 3 members of our board of ed who just ironically happen to be running for election in 20 days. 1K, 2K, and 3K on your ballot, just saying. Dan Harris, SEO, Dan Morella, and Sue Gordon. Thank you. I want to thank our top 2 people responsible for the success of economic development in Woodbridge Township. My right arm, Carol Ehrlich, my left arm, Martin Lefsky in the house. Was here for a little bit. He had to go to several other events, as you can imagine, covering the whole state, how busy he is. So thank you, Craig, and thank you all the other township employees who are out tonight who make Woodbridge the best town around. As I said, I think this is a great lineup of honorees, starting with Father Bill Smith, who I've known since I met him checking into a hotel at Knights of Columbus Convention in 1990. I was actually accountant for a lot of years when I had a CPA business. But we had to part ways because Father Smith insisted on deducting bread and wine as meals and entertainment. And I just couldn't let that happen. Beth Avery, a longtime friend of mine, we met back in 2006, the year I became mayor. All I can say is Beth Avery changes kids' lives. Beth Avery is an amazing teacher, an amazing partner. I get involved in the plays, I get involved in the choir, we do all kinds of crazy stuff and make a fool out of myself, but it's fun, and I talk to all the parents, and the one thing they all say is Beth's an outstanding teacher and great honoree tonight. Linda Vizella, you got Hackensack, Meridian, everybody's merging, everybody's joining together, people flying all over the place, but all I know is Hackensack had the good sense to keep Linda Vizella as their governor representative. She's terrific. Howie Bauer, we thought so much of Howie Bauer that we asked him to run for second ward councilman when Rick DeLina finally retired after 24 years. But Howie's been terrific, 10 months on the council, he's an outstanding councilman for us. The rest of the people, Al Shanice is a member of our board. He does a lot of work for our redevelopment agency. Amy Krasinski, RSI Bank. All I know about Amy is every time she comes in my office, she leaves with $1 million. I can't resist. I'm sorry, Columbia. Sorry, Columbia. I'm in trouble now. Tom Cassidy's had a long relationship. Joanne LaPerla Morales with Middlesex County College. Someone we've had a great relationship ever since I was working for the town in the 90s. So a great group of honorees, but then you screwed it all up by making Bob Durso your leader. What were you thinking? But in all seriousness, Bob's a great guy that We have a terrific relationship with. He's a great leader of the Chamber of Commerce. He's been on our Woodbridge Downtown Special Improvement District Board. He just got added to the Woodbridge Economic Development Corporation Board. That's a group of people we look to for advice on what to do in Woodbridge. And the fact that Bob Durso is on that board says all you need to know about Bob, and you made a terrific choice honoring him tonight with the Jack Cirillo Award. Congratulations, Bob. Thank you all very much, and I'm sure we'll see you over the next several months as we work our way to next June 1st. Thank you very much.
And let's hear what the best mayor around, or the best man around. So one of the events of that Cecil Centennial that we talked about is Restaurant Week, which is coming up November 5th and 12th. And many of the restaurants represented in this room will be part of this, so we encourage you to support that event. So at this time, we would like to extend our gratitude to tonight's gold sponsors, because without them, this event would not be possible. So please put your hands together for our gold sponsors, and the first one is Verizon. So let's give a shout out to John Scalina, who's our board member. And we also have Hackensack Meridian Health at JFK Medical Center. And also Northfield Bank, and I know Steve Klein is in the house. Let's put our hands together for Steve and Steve. And we'll be acknowledging our silver and our bronze sponsors a little later in this evening. And all the sponsors will be shown throughout the evening advertising their support. A few more housekeeping details, if you can put up with that. You can further show your support by the Chamber by participating in a number of our activities. First of all is the Chairman's Raffle, which is outside. We have a very large, very smart 50-inch television. We have a Keurig coffee maker, a coffee set, a beautiful can, and Kate Spade handbag earrings, which you can take a raffle for. We also have a wonderful silent auction that's going to go on until 8 p.m. tonight. So outbid your friends and family and outbid your competitors, and just make sure you pay attention to what the incremental bid has to be. So please get your bids in on that, because you don't want to miss out on some fabulous deals. And also 50/50s are being sold and will be pulled at the end of the evening. And we'd also like to put our hands together for Joe Crane, who is our guitarist during the cocktail hour. So let's give him a big round of applause. Joe's a great guy. He does wonderful work. Give him a call if you need a guitarist. So for those of you who are new to this event, I just want to fill you in as to how the evening works. In place of acceptance speeches, we've created short videos that feature each of our honorees. So we invite you to view their bios in our souvenir journal this evening, throughout the course of the evening, and we appreciate your attention and your silence during the times when the videos are being played. And if you could also put the cell phones on because they're silent, that would be much appreciated. So at this time, we're going to get right into the program. We'd like to acknowledge our first award. It's the first award of the evening. You know, the Woodbridge Chamber is such a part of the fabric of the community and partners with a lot of different organizations throughout the year. We are happy to provide our venue tonight to our friends at the Raritan Bay YMCA as they present the Jack Cirillo Civic Leader Award. For those of you who remember Jack, he was a true shining star, and his light continues to shine through the others he inspired. Presenting the award this evening is Raritan Bay Area YMCA CEO Steve Jobin. We'd also like to call up Jack's family, his sons Nick and Mike, to present the award. Okay. So I'm happy to announce the recipient of the Jack Cirillo Civic Leader Award, and I think the mayor tipped you off to this one, is none other than Bob Durso of JJ Ellick Realty.
When I received the call, I have to tell you, I was completely shocked. Jack was a mentor to me, a friend, and I was totally taken aback. I think it's one of the best honors that I could have ever asked for. It's certainly a confidence boost to know that my peers and the folks that nominated me felt that I was worthy of such a great honor. Being the recipient of the Jack Cerullo Civic Leader of the Year Award is a real honor for me. I was fortunate enough to know Jack very well. He was a mentor and he was a confidant. He gave me great business advice, great family advice. I first met Jack as a kid at the YMCA, ironically enough. My family had known his family for generations, literally, but I got to know him through my interactions at the Y as a kid. And he continued to be part of my life in a lot of amazing ways, from church to business to personal. And I have to tell you, he had a tremendous impact on me and my family, and I am honored to have this award. He made me feel like I was the most important person in his life at the moment that we were talking. And one of my philosophies is that people don't always remember what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel. And Jack always made us feel like we were number one at the moment we were together. And I try to impart that in my life. Unfortunately, future recipients of this award aren't going to have had the pleasure of knowing Jack personally. And it's my responsibility as the Jack Cerullo Civic Leader Award winner for this year to make sure that his memory and his life and his legacy move forward for future residents of our community. So, in closing, I just want to thank those of you who nominated me. I want to thank his family, his children, his grandchildren, and so forth and so on. I look forward to making sure that I honor his memory, and I thank you again for this great award.
Congratulations, Tom. For our next award, another organization, the Rotary Club of Woodbridge for a Fanboy, is recognizing a member for outstanding community service. And this is no surprise, as they have provided and continue to provide service to our chamber as well. The Rotary's motto is service above self, and this time we live that creed. I'd like to call up Raj Vinod. Raj Vinod, who's presenting this evening's award. I hope I have his name correct. And he is the Rotary Club president. He is presenting this evening's Rotary Paul Harris Community Service Award to none other than Reverend William Smith of St. Anthony's of Padua Parish. Let's take a look at the video.
As pastor, I'm responsible for 1,000 families at St. Anthony's and also a second worship site, Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Woodbridge. And so I'm responsible for caring for the people, providing sacraments for them, baptism, weddings, funerals, first communions, and then visiting the sick, and then reaching out to the community as people come in from the community with their needs. For example, we have people that are homeless. We try and find them temporary shelter. We're developing a food pantry to reach out people who are hungry. Reaching out to the community is important to me because Jesus taught us that. He reached out to people. He didn't sit in his office waiting for people to come to him, but he went out to visit with people. And that's why I feel involvement in the community is so important. When I first came, I was introduced to the chamber, so I was involved with the activities at the chamber. About 5 years ago, a member of Rotary invited me to one of their meetings, and I really enjoyed the community outreach they did. What really impressed me is their worldwide desire to eliminate polio, which about 99% of polio is eliminated in the world, so they've almost accomplished that. In the local community, they have spelling bee contests for middle school students. They have scholarships for seniors in any of the schools in Woodbridge, or students who may be attending a school outside of Woodbridge, but they have a residence here. And then they have a dictionary program where they make available dictionaries to students. We also help with the veterans and wounded warriors. Paul Harris was the founder of Rotary, and so Rotary later developed this award to honor people from the community who do service to the community and try and follow the actions of Paul Harris as the founder. And so I was really overwhelmed and honored at being named a Paul Harris Fellow. I'd like to thank the people of Rotary of Woodbridge and Perth Amboy for nominating me, and then the people who have helped me for the work I've done in the community.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations, Reverend Smith. Our next award focuses on the all-important connection between our town's businesses and our school system. So since we're talking about the business education connection, I just want to make a short pitch for the Mayor's Advocacy Committee for Education, which is a group that works to create partnerships between businesses and Woodbridge Township schools. And there's a great synergy that takes place when business people share their knowledge, whether that be through a facility tour or through a career day or through a classroom visit with our kids. And so likewise, our chamber in our community have benefited from the talent of our students. This next award acknowledges that important business education link and the labor of love and leadership that will serve as an inspiration to students well into their future. I am pleased to announce our Business Education Partnership Champion is Beth Amory of Woodbridge High School.
For 32 years, I've been the music director at Woodbridge High School. My primary job is to get students to perform choral music at the highest level. That being said, sometimes I'm teacher, sometimes I'm parent. Music is a great vehicle to help students to navigate through high school life and the transition into college, and we use our prep and our performances to develop discipline, responsibility, and I try to get them out into the community to see as much of the world as they can before they have to go out and deal with it on their own. My favorite part of working with kids is getting to know them as people and watching them grow. More often than not, a student comes to me as a freshman, and then we have a 4-year relationship built on that love of music and work ethic, and we do competitions, all kinds of performances, fundraisers, and so my favorite part, I think, is watching them develop into adults. The primary goal is the end goal, to get students to competition, to sing in front of other music educators, and to win. If you asked a kid, that would probably be their focus, but that's one day of 180 days that we spend together. So one of the great things is we sing all over the community for all kinds of township events, sometimes recreational, sometimes political. They're always interesting, they're always fun. My students get to see local leaders, they sometimes get to meet state leaders. We do all kinds of fundraisers, so we have a nice connection with businesses in town. And then we do some charity work. We've worked with Relay for Life, we sing at Roosevelt Hospital, and I try to get them out as much as I can. And every year's a little bit different. there's always something going on. Over the years, there have been so many supporters, I almost hate to start naming names. I don't want to leave anybody out. But of course, the Chamber and the members of the Chamber of Commerce who never hesitate to help us when we're doing a fundraiser, who are so supportive at performances. I have to thank Mayor McCormick, who not only supports the kids, but has performed with the kids. All of the members at Town Hall have always been very supportive of my kids and made them feel a part of the community. I have the best team of administrators to work with. I've had great administrators over the years, but Mr. Lotman, Mr. Perry, and Mr. Chiara could not be more supportive. Their trust in my decisions and how I run the program means an awful lot. And they're in the crowd every time my kids sing, which really, really, truly means a lot. I have family and friends who are always at performances. I'm a product of the Woodbridge school system, so I've had amazing music teachers. I'm still friendly with my high school choir director, who took me from band to choir and changed my life completely. So there are an awful lot of people if I had to make a list.
Holiday luncheon, you'll be entertained again by the high school students, and they do a fantastic job. They're inspiring. Their music is fabulous. So let's give them a round of applause. We're going to take a short break for dinner, so get to make the table mates, and we'll be back in a little while. Enjoy. Our silver sponsors, can we have everyone's attention, please? Please put your hands together for our silver sponsors this evening. I'll ask them all, and then we're going to have a round of applause after. We have Woodbridge Center, Investors Bank, Columbia Bank, and Wegmans. And our bronze sponsors this evening are Berkeley College and Dave and Buster. So our next award this evening, this award recognizes the humanitarian spirit and is named after the former chamber executive of many years who was and continues to be active in numerous causes, Carol Highlight. Carol in the house. Carol, you in the house? There she is. Okay, so for our next honoree, I have one question. Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? Because if not, our next honoree takes great pride in pointing you in the right direction to find one, and she can hook you up. All right, she is everywhere and has served on too many committees to name. When this nomination came up, it was absolutely fitting that she be recognized. So I'm not going to announce her name, but I'm going to call your attention to the video so that you can sit in your seat and watch your video, and then we'll call you up. So let's run the video, and you'll see who our next honoree is.
When I was hired at Raritan Bay Medical Center, the hospital didn't have a clear link, especially to the Woodbridge community. So part of my role at Raritan Bay Medical Center was to link the physicians to each other and the services at the hospital to the community. Initially, we didn't have a big stronghold in Woodbridge, and that's really what they hired me to do, is to be involved in Woodbridge. And that's why I feel very comfortable in this role on the chamber. And I feel that Woodbridge embraced me. I feel that the chamber really affords businesses, and especially the hospital system that is so large now, a personal arena to get to know each other. And we've brought some of our physicians to events in Woodbridge. And for example, where could a woman get to interview basically a GYN to see if they were comfortable with each other? Or if you needed an orthopedic surgeon, you know you've met them at an event. And I feel like in the world when our system is so large, we still need to have a homey community feel about us to make us different. Some of the events and community programming that I found most enjoyable is the things at the Chamber where we can bring each other together. For example, we started a Ladies on Main event where we actually walked through the downtown on Main Street, and people didn't know some of the stores or vendors before. And then we would bring and invite physicians to come to that and come to the dinner. And not one person ever leaves early. People feel comfortable at Chamber events, and they're still mingling and talking far after the event has been finished. So some of those events, I hope now that my role has taken me to include JFK as well. I hope that we could bring JFK and Raritan Bay together and their physicians to be the hospital of Woodbridge community. Some of the areas at JFK, for instance, their Johnson Rehab Institute, I had never been to before, and I think that it's really a good access point for the community, and really our role is to take care of each other. So however it is, whichever community hospital or network hospital needs to fill that goal, I'd like to help you navigate that. I'd like to take this time to thank the committee for selecting me to receive the Carol Hyler Humanitarian Award, and I'd like to say I'm much happier not on this side of receiving things. I much prefer to bring people together.
Congratulations, Linda. Just so that you know, tonight's Children's Award honorees have received resolutions from the 19th District offices of Senator Joe Vitale, Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez, and Assemblyman Craig Coughlin, as well as Mayor John McCormick and Council. And these citations are being presented to the honorees along with their other awards. So we thank the offices for those awards. Okay, so our next award, it gives me great pleasure to announce the recipient of the Frank G. Peltzman Award. This award recognizes an organization or an individual that depicts the true community spirit that was exemplified by Mayor Frank Peltzman. It's the person that goes above and beyond. Our honorees service is apparent on so many different levels. And we encourage you to read the bios tonight because frankly, this guy's like an energizer buddy when it comes to activity and flyer support and local community baseball support. So tonight's recipient of this award, we'd like to go to the video and we will announce this next gentleman. We encourage him to sit in his seat, watch the video, and then come up after the video.
Currently, I'm involved with the Ford's Volunteer Fire Company. I am First Assistant Chief. I was Chief in 2011, 2017, and in line to be Chief in 2019. I hold many positions in the fire company on numerous boards and committees. I'm also the lead Explorer Advisor, which is an apprenticeship for our young women between the ages of 14 and 18-year-olds that want to learn about the basic fire services. We are monitored by the Boy Scouts of America. We are managed by Ford's Fire Company, and we're funded by the District 7 Board of Fire Commissioners. I was involved with the Ford's Clower Barn Baseball League for over 15 years, and 10 years on their executive board, president for 2 years, 2 years as the recording secretary, and 6 years as treasurer. My personal satisfaction from community service and volunteer relate to the fire services. When we get that 911 call, we go out to the residents, and we're the first person they actually physically see on the call. We assess the situation, we explain, we find a solution. So knowing that the person is at ease and their personal safety is at their best. I encourage others to volunteer. It gives you personal satisfaction. I'm a type of leader to lead by example. I like to work side by side with my staff in the trenches. After every event, or actually every fire call, I go back and critique myself and the event. What can I do better? First, I'd like to thank Donna Rivera from Columbia Bank for nominating me for this award. also the Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce for selecting me for this prestigious award, my past organizations and all of my staff for their support over the years, and last but not least, my family, who sacrificed the most for their patience and understanding for me doing what I love to do best, serving my community.
Thank you.
All right, our next award focuses on small business. Small business is a critical component and a major contributor to the strength of our local economy. And each year, the Chamber presents this award to an outstanding owner of a small business who has started or developed a successful for-profit business that's at least 3 years old. Tonight's honoree demonstrates leadership, a willingness to get involved, and the expertise it takes to be a resource to clients and a successful business person. Tonight, the Chamber presents its Small Business Person of the Year Award to Al Shanice. Let's go to the video.
I opened a business in January of 2012 in Perth Amboy with my daughter Jennifer, and we were in Perth Amboy for 4.5 years before finding an opportunity here in Woodbridge to buy a building, and we moved to Woodbridge in 2016. I've been in business since 1973. Started as a residential salesperson in Atlantic County, moved up to North Jersey in Woodbridge in 1984, and been in the appraisal business ever since. My typical day starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. I live 5 minutes from my office, so I'm there early, I'm there late. I spend most of my time doing paperwork. I submit a lot of bids, I review and write a lot of appraisal reports. However, I do spend a couple of days a week on the road. I do inspections of all types of properties, residential houses, industrial buildings, offices. I've even done 2 military bases over the past 5 years. I'm active in the Chamber because I feel it's important for any business to be active in their community. The Chamber has given me an opportunity to meet fellow businesses within town, as well as officials within the township and surrounding communities. I was first active in the Junior Chamber of Commerce down in Atlantic County when I started in the real estate business, and it was a great experience then, and it's a great experience now. For anybody who wants to open their own business, I would say go for it. Have a business plan, have the finances to support you for the first couple of months while you're building your business. Try and go in there with some clients and some customers that you can use to help grow your business. Plan on working long hours. Plan on disappointments. There's going to be some hard times, but it's all worth it at the end. I'd like to thank the Chamber for receiving the award of Small Business Person of the Year. The Chamber has been very good to me. I've made some good friends and some good contacts with the Chamber. But I'd also like to thank my family. My wife has been a great support for me. I'd like to thank my daughter Jennifer, who was the reason I opened up my business and has been my business partner since day one. And finally, I'd like to thank my daughter. She's always been around to help me and has always been there to keep my ego in check.
All right, this award recognizes a member of the Chamber who has offered service above and beyond. This person has been a great resource to the Chamber. Her energy, her professionalism, her enthusiasm, and her willingness to think out of the box has helped take our Chamber into exciting new directions which benefit our Chamber and its members. I am pleased to announce the Chamber's award for Member of the Year goes to none other than Amy Krajinski of RSI Bank. Let's take a look.
My job is to grow the commercial side of the bank through business accounts, commercial loans, lines of credit, things of that nature. Another big part of my job is networking and community development through networking groups like the Woodbridge Chamber and volunteer work in the town. What excites me about my work each day is that every day is different and I'm really able to help my customers. I can make banking for them an easy and stress-free task. What made me get involved with the Woodbridge Chamber of Commerce is that networking and referrals are a huge part of my job. So over the past 5 years being a Woodbridge Chamber member, I've been able to gain many professional relationships as well as many great friends over the past 5 years. I would definitely like to thank the Woodbridge Chamber and my fellow Chamber board members. I'd also like to give a special shout out to Nancy Drum, who has been my mentor over the past 10 years since my first job at the Woodbridge YMCA when I was 16 years old. She's really helped motivate me and has helped me through my professional career. I'd also like to thank my boss, Jim King, who is extremely supportive and has guided me over the past 3 years at RSI Bank.
All right, let's see how to break it. When it comes to being an outstanding corporate neighbor, we shine the spotlight on our next honoree. The Chamber's Corporate Citizen of the Year Award is awarded to a company for its voluntary contributions to the company, to the community, above and beyond its business contributions. It gives me great pleasure to announce the Chamber's 2018 Corporate Citizen of the Year honoree is Artie Smallwood of Comcast Spotlight. Let's hear the Comcast Spotlight video.
Being named Corporate Citizen of the Year is, first of all, a great honor. Comcast as a company is a big believer in community engagement across the country. Managing our Woodbridge office, we know that we're a part of a very tight-knit community here in the Woodbridge area. So it's great to establish partnerships and be visible in the community. Most importantly, it's great to be a part of the Chamber because it's a win-win. We've seen the Chamber help us, and most importantly, we want to utilize our resources to help the Chamber and its members as well. I'm a big believer that in order to do business with the community, we need to do business in the community. So most importantly for us is being able to support local businesses here in the area, have solid relationships with those business owners. In addition to that, the Chamber has been, again, a great win for us. Karen and Nancy do a great job in keeping the Chamber vibrant and exciting. We would like to thank the Chamber and the board for nominating us. It's obviously a great honor for us. I would thank the people I work with here in the Woodbridge office. It's nice to work with people who you get along with. A lot easier to come to work when you love the work that you do. And I would also thank our local clients who we do a lot of business with here in the Woodbridge area. They're very important to us, and obviously it's very important for us to help local businesses continue to grow.
Next to love. wouldn't be possible without Comcast Spotlight, that's for sure. So before we do our last award, we're making great time tonight, aren't we, right? All right, so we'd like to thank several people for the service and support tonight. The flowers on your table were courtesy of Floral Expressions. Where is Jim? Floral Expressions always does a great job here on Main Street. Once again, the music was provided by Joe Frame. Joe, our guitarist. Our videos were courtesy of Comcast Spotlight. Comcast, Marty. Jim, with our photography this evening. And the staff of the Renaissance has once again done an outstanding job. Let's give them a big round of applause. Now, our final award this evening, we've saved the best for last, the Chamber's most prestigious honor. This recognizes distinguished service to the community at large. I've had the pleasure of knowing this honoree for many years, and her dedication to Middlesex County College and the surrounding community was unparalleled. Please join me in recognizing our 2018 Citizen of the Year, Dr. Joanne Morales, past president of Middlesex County College. Let's go to the video.
When I was hired at Raritan Bay Medical Center, the hospital didn't have a clear link, especially to the Woodbridge community. So part of my role at Raritan Bay Medical Center was to link the physicians to each other and the services at the hospital to the community. Initially, we didn't have a big stronghold in Woodbridge, and that's really what they hired me to do, is to be involved in Woodbridge. And that's why I feel very comfortable in this role on the Chamber, and I feel that Woodbridge embraced me. I feel that the Chamber really affords businesses, and especially the hospital system that is so large now, a personal arena to get to know each other. And we've brought some of our physicians to events in Woodbridge, and for example, where could a woman get to interview basically a GYN to see if they were comfortable with each other, or if you needed an orthopedic surgeon, you know you've met them at an event. And I feel like in the world when our system is so large, we still need to have a homey community feel about us to make us different. Some of the events and community programming that I found most enjoyable is the things at the Chamber where we can bring each other together. For example, we started a Ladies on Main event where we actually walked through the downtown on Main Street, and people didn't know some of the stores or vendors before. And then we would bring and invite physicians to come to that and come to the dinner. And not one person ever leaves early. People feel comfortable at Chamber events, and they're still mingling and talking far after the event has been finished. So some of those events, I hope now that my role has taken me to include JFK as well. I hope that we could bring JFK and Raritan Bay together and their physicians to be the hospital of Woodbridge community. Some of the areas at JFK, for instance, the Johnson Rehab Institute, I had never been to before, and I think that it's really a good access point for the community, and really our role is to take care of each other. So however it is, whichever community hospital or network hospital needs to fill that goal, I'd like to help you navigate that. I'd like to take this time to thank the committee for selecting me to receive the Carol Hyla Humanitarian Award, and I'd like to say I'm much happier not on this side of receiving things. I much prefer to bring people together.
Dr. Joanne Morales.